All right, folks, welcome to the Smart Gamble. It is week 14 of the 2024-2025 NFL season. As always, I'm coming to you live from Las Vegas. I'm CJ Jones, and as always, I'm joined by my partner extraordinaire, Miss Lily. How you doing?
Doing great. You like our new snowman?
I'm loving it. I'm like, let us know, let us know, let us know, huh?
Yeah. Yeah,
Except
it's
in
the Balmy
Vegas.
22 in the Poconos
Yeah.
today.
Yeah,
Oof,
absolutely.
oof, crazy.
Yes.
Yeah, so a little on the cool side here in Vegas, but I don't really mind. I'm an East Coast guy at heart, so I don't mind the temps when they get into the 30s and 40s. So
Well,
Yeah,
I'm
it's all
glad
things
you
I
good.
feel
can't
that way
handle.
because what we would like to do is move out to you and you can come over here.
Then you can live here.
I
Besides,
got tired of that snow a while back, and I am not going back, folks. Not going back.
it's amazing. All the people that leave here. My wife and I were in Florida many years back, and there was a young waitress, and she came from Connecticut. My first question was, when are you going to move back? She says, I am never
Not
going
doing
back.
it. Not doing it.
I'm not,
Yeah.
never going back. So
All right.
once you get out, you don't want to come back. But
Exactly.
we're not letting people out anymore. So you have
All right, folks. We got a really good show today, jam-packed with some good discussion points and probably some sharp disagreements as well.
oh,
Miss
yes.
Lily, yes.
Which
All
we love on
right.
this show.
Shots fired already here. All right, Lily, tell the people how they can find us.
Okay, check us out at thesmartgamble.com. Subscribe to us on YouTube and reach out to us at thesmartgamble@gmail.com. And Angie, social media, take it away.
Twitter and Instagram at the Smart Gamble underscore.
Angelica, love it.
Angelica.
Yes. So before
So,
we get into our football topics, we want to start the show with a segment we like to call Creative Genius, where
yes.
pop culture and good old fashioned opinion based behavior come together. Human behavior, sorry. And here to make us smarter and more hip is our creative genius, Angie.
Hey.
Yay, Angelica.
Hello. So we'll be in a scruples questions kind of mood today with all these questions requiring a yes or no or it depends, along with an explanation of your answer. Let's see how many of these co-hosts are morally and ethically upright and which
None of
ones are
us. None of
straight
us.
up
None of
wrong.
them. None of them. None of them. And that
Okay.
goes for your mothers.
Oh, stop it.
So someone younger than you looks up to you as a mentor, asks you if you ever smoke marijuana or if you drink alcohol on a regular basis. Let's assume, for the purposes of this scenario, that you either have smoked in the past or that you drink regularly. Do you tell that person that you haven't or don't do either activity to keep that person from trying it?
Can
As
I
far
take
as
this first? Can I
go
take
right
this one
ahead.
first?
Sure, sure.
Go
Go
right
for
ahead.
I
it.
think it depends on the kid. If the kid is very easily influenced, I would deny it because
Oh,
they'll
it's
just
not.
follow me. That like they look up to me as a mentor.
Yeah.
So if they're so easily influenced, I would deny it.
But what about
So
the notion of you have a kid who you say don't do this and they do it anyway because the more you tell them no, the
Yeah.
more willing they do yes. So like,
But I wouldn't be like emphatic about it. I
Yeah.
would just be
okay.
nonchalant. Like, no, I don't smoke or drink. That's it.
yeah,
I
but
don't know what I would do. I would think I would be honest though.
If the kid was easily influenced, that's the way I would handle it. If not,
Okay.
I would be honest.
oh, so you keep on drinking then.
Yes.
That's the other side of that coin. Okay, gotcha. As far as I'm concerned, I have to profess way back when I was young, I did smoke some pot. Didn't
Uh-huh.
like it. Didn't do it again. As far as alcohol goes, I haven't had a drink since 2003, except for the one drink I had at my son's wedding. And that was it. In the 20 some odd years of my life, I have not had a drink, and I don't miss it. And I wouldn't have any problem in telling him not to pursue drinking or marijuana. I don't think either one of them are good for you.
No.
Yeah, I am probably one of the few people on the planet who has never tried marijuana. I don't have no interest in it.
Wow.
I have wine on weekends here and there, but I think this question is interesting. I probably would be honest. I'd say, hey, yep, I drink. I have occasional wine, a glass of
Yeah,
wine with dinner on a Saturday night or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think this is definitely up to the kid. Maybe the
Yeah.
kid is 16 years old or whatever. His kids are trying and so forth. But to me, I think that just being honest, whether or not you're ashamed of your choices or not, being honest, I think goes a long way. And that probably helps a
Yeah.
kid decide because that kid is going to be an adult and a person who's looked up to down the road as well. And he's going to remember, he or she's going to remember, this is
Yeah.
how I handled this when I was this age. So I would
Yeah.
probably just be honest, say, hey, I drink and be careful. Either choice, just be careful. Don't overdo it. And if you're someone who's either physically or emotionally influenced easily, then make that tough choice. Tough
I
choice.
further to that, in my 39 years of life, I would like to say that it is very important because you never know what you say as a parent, what strikes your children. And I am amazed all the time as to something I said back in the 1970s, 80s that has struck my grandchildren or children or whatever. So you have to be careful with what and how you say any of these things.
Yeah, and kids do not forget anything.
No,
They don't
No,
forget.
they really
So
don't.
how you handle things, what you say, how you react to things, it's always ingrained in their minds. 50 years later, they'll remember that. So
they're all
No,
a bunch of
the best advice you ever gave me was it's not what happens, it's how
How
you
you
react
react
to
to
what
it.
happens.
yes,
And I take that advice to this day at
yeah.
all
They're
times.
all they're all a bunch of elephants. That's what it is. They don't forget anything.
They don't. They don't.
All right.
Oh,
So you're scheduled to go on a date with someone on a specific evening when you get a call or a text from someone you really like who wants to go out on the same evening. Do you cancel the scheduled date to go out with the person you really like?
Yes.
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 Yeah,
Yes.
well, I
You don't
asked
want
you
to waste
whether that.
anybody's time.
Yeah, you don't want to waste
Yeah.
anyone's time or
And if you guys really like each other and then then just go for it.
yep.
That may go somewhere,
Yeah, I asked your mother that question. She didn't take 1 second. She would absolutely cancel the earlier day. No doubt about it. I said, nice, very nice.
Oh my goodness, that is too funny.
Yes.
We all had the same answer.
Yes.
Same
Yes.
answer, no doubt
All the
about
girls have the same answer.
it.
Okay. While pulling out of a parking space, you accidentally hit the bumper of a car in front of you. Nobody is around to see it. You can either drive off without any repercussions, or you can leave a note with your name and phone number for the owner of the car that you hit. What do you do?
This has happened to me before.
Okay.
And I left a note, and
Yeah.
the people were very cool about it. They said there's no damage to my car, so just forget about it. So that's what we did.
Yeah,
That was
I
very
would.
nice.
I would, of course, leave my name and phone number.
Oh, really? Nana would not leave her name in front of her. Nana would drive away very quickly. God, I said, that's really nice.
I would
And
think
she
about
said,
it.
"Dad."
I will think about pulling it away, but I think I'd probably leave the note. But I think there's some shysters out there too, where it's oh you did not only
Yes,
did this, but you did this as well. You did this.
Yes.
My
Yep.
suspension is broken or whatever. So $10,000 later, you're on the hook because you left a note. So
Yeah,
I
it's
I
true.
I give it some thought a little bit on that one. That's one's not an automatic for me
Yeah,
yet.
maybe I would rethink that.
Yeah, it's true.
Rethink doing that again.
yeah. Well, your mother said that the only thing she'd be concerned is she'd have to put on a mask immediately because there's so many cameras around. I said, very nice.
That's true. That's true.
Very nice. Very nice. Now she's thinking wearing mask after she hits something. Isn't that nice? Oh,
All right,
jeez.
good
All
segment.
right,
Good
let's jump
segment.
into CJ's quick fire questions. A
Let's do it.
potpourri of hot topics around the NFL. Here we go. If you are a top coaching candidate in the sport of football, what would be the top 3 most desirable jobs in order that you'd be interested in? The teams that will likely have a coaching job opening are, but not limited to, the New York Giants, the New England Patriots, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Las Vegas Raiders, or the New York Jets.
You and the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, Chicago's in there as well.
Well, they already got a new coach, right?
No, he's interim.
He's an interim coach.
Yeah, so he
Oh.
may not be guaranteed next year. So
Oh, okay. All
And
righty.
as far as I'm concerned, I would pick the Chicago Bears on top and the New England Patriots to follow. They seem to have the body of pretty good teams going forward. They have
I agree.
both have good young quarterbacks that I think will be around for a long time. It's just a matter for them to fill in the offensive line and some defensive players. And I think either one of those teams will be in the playoffs next year.
Yep.
I think when I answer this question, I think of a couple of different things, not just simply like the quarterback that's in place and so forth, but I think of the city as well. Chicago is very high on my list because Chicago's an old franchise. They have a lot of tradition. I think Las Vegas is up and coming. They just got a franchise a couple of years ago. I think playing indoors in Vegas in this city is means something as well. And one team that does not appear in this list that might have an opening is the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I
Yeah.
think that if the Dallas Cowboys were on this list at the end of the year, I would consider Dallas, despite the fact that you have the owner who's a meddling owner and he's always in the microphone and
Mhm.
so forth. But there's something about the Dallas Cowboys that you can't, if you have an opportunity to coach the Cowboys, you don't turn it down. That's just my
Well,
opinion.
for me, I don't know if I could work with Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones sticks his nose in everywhere, and usually when he does, it's the wrong choice for him and for the team. I would rather stick with some of the younger teams. Like you said, Chicago is one of the few teams that was established when the league first started.
Yes.
They
Yep.
have a tremendous history. They have tremendous players. I would probably go with the Chicago Bears if I had a chance, even over Dallas.
How about you, Lily?
I agree with my dad's first choice, the Bears and New England.
New England. I
Yeah.
stay as far away from New England as possible. I mean, the stench of Bill Belichick's stink is still on that team, and it'll be there for years to come. I don't go near New England. No way.
Well,
No way.
I don't think his 24-year-old girlfriend thinks he's got a stench.
Oh God.
And
She
you're from the
she
New England area, so you would know.
she's in it for the money. That's all it is. It's all about
Yeah.
Yes,
this.
yes. There you go.
And as
There
soon as the
you
money
go.
dries up, she dries up. So that's it.
Yes,
Game over.
Yeah.
I
unbelievable.
like that.
All
All
right.
right. Next up, the NFL and all the major sports in general have had its share of players who have found themselves in legal trouble. Incidents that include drunk driving, drug use and distribution, and domestic violence. Some of these incidents are adjudicated in the courts before the NFL doles out punishment for the player, and other times the NFL chooses to act before the courts get involved. So, how far should the NFL go as it relates to allowing players to be eligible to play football? I think I
Okay,
would
I
like to
just
answer that first.
go
Okay.
right ahead.
I think they should be suspended. They should have like a list of incidents and how long they should be suspended. And then, what do you guys think? Do you agree with that?
I
Well, I
do. I
my
do.
feeling is, and I discussed this with your mother. We have very interesting discussions now in the morning over breakfast,
Ah,
talking
okay.
about she can't believe she's talking sports at breakfast early in the morning, but that's all right. I got it conditioned. Now, as far as she's concerned, he should get 3 months for the first offense. A second offense, he should be banned from football
Yeah.
for domestic violence.
Yes.
Well, I'm talking. So, okay. So, are there any offenses that should mandate that the player be banned from the sport for
Yeah.
life? Where should the NFL draw the line? I think banned for life. Of course, murder, rape,
Right.
domestic
Domestic
Yep.
violence,
violence.
Absolutely.
Right.
all those
Automatic.
things. And then
Automatic.
Yeah.
everything else should
Yes.
have like a certain suspension.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think the two or three most common offenses that we deal with all the time are, and they were mentioned in the question, DUIs that happen seemingly every week, DUIs,
Yes.
Yes.
and once in a while you'll get the DV, domestic violence and so forth. I think if you are guilty of domestic violence, minimum of a year, and the second offense, or maybe depending on how difficult it is, that's you're going for life. I'm really also tough on DUIs. DUIs happen seemingly every weekend with these guys. Very first time, I don't care if you haven't done it before. First time, half a season, and it's a three-strike rule. So if you do three DUIs, you are done for life. Because
Yep.
when you're involved in a DUI, a car crash, and so forth, you have no idea whether that other person is gonna die or their life is gonna be permanently ruined and so forth. There's enough information out there that people should understand. Get a cab, get a limousine, get a car service when you go out and drink and party and so forth. It's absolutely no excuse to go out there and after having three or four drinks and all of a sudden get behind the wheel of a car. No excuse. So I'd come down heavily on DUIs.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
come down heavily on domestic violence because,
Yes,
like you say, there are alternatives with the DV. There's not many alternatives.
right.
If because they play in a very violent game,
Yeah.
As my wife says every week, they look like they're trying to kill each other. I said, yes, they are trying to
They
Yes,
kill
are.
each other.
it's
They
legalized
certainly are.
violence.
Look
Legalized
at
violence.
look
It
at
is.
that hit that was put on Trevor Lawrence last week in that game in
Yes.
Jacksonville. My
Yes.
God.
Yeah. Yeah. Al
As far as I'm
Shair.
concerned, that young should be banned from football. To hit him like that, I know he says, well, it was a last second hit and so forth, but my God, you hit somebody like that going at that speed, and he is so vulnerable. He's wide open. No thanks. You've got to be able to drop or do something to avoid a hit like that, and
Right.
which I don't think he tried. So I would certainly come down very hard on the DV guys because, like I say, they play a game where they are constantly trying to kill each other. And you can't separate that sometimes. When you get in a discussion with somebody, your inners just take over. And you can't, it's hard to fight it because that's what you train every day, almost of your life to do that. So, as far as I'm concerned, the DV is got to be controlled because it's getting out
Absolutely.
of getting
Now
out.
the question is, would you wait until the courts say yes, you're guilty, not guilty? Because we do see sometimes where it seems pretty obvious, like take OJ, like the ultimate. The guy did it. In my mind, he did it. He got acquitted in the courts. Would you have allowed OJ to stay in the NFL?
Oh, that's a tough question. That that
That
that is. I would certainly suspend him maybe for a year
Yeah.
and kick him out for a year based upon that. But it's a tough. That's a tough question to
Yeah.
answer. I don't know what I would do. I really
yeah.
don't. But I would, in the circumstances surrounding OJ, I would definitely suspend him for a year
Hmm.
and then let him get back.
That makes sense.
All right. So to end the quick fire questions on a note that we're hoping causes lots of arguments among our
Yes.
co-hosts,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
there are currently a handful of elite quarterbacks in the NFL who do not have a Super Bowl ring and whose teams are in strong contention for the championship this year. That would be Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, and Jared Goff. So, which of these quarterbacks would be in the category of Super Bowl this year or bust?
The answer in this question is obvious. Lamar Jackson.
Jack,
That is
yes.
obvious. Lamar Jackson has got all the talent in the world. The guy is 2-4 in his playoff career, 2 wins, 4 losses. If he doesn't get it done this year, you got to start now thinking about this guy as he's got a lot of talent, but underachieved because that those teams that he's had the past couple of years have been stacked with talent, stacked. And this year they have Derrick Henry, no excuse. You got to get it done this year, or it's a failure. That's the way I think about Lamar.
I
Yeah,
would
but
even add Josh Allen to that category.
Well,
He's
I
just won
mean,
7 games consecutively.
yeah.
If they don't do it this year, for shit's sakes, when are they going to do it?
yeah, but I think with Josh though, I mean, because he lost his best receiver in Stephon Diggs at the end of last year. So this was supposed to be a year that they were supposed to be kind of rebuilding or trying to figure out who they were. And he actually is, in my mind, overachieving this year. Now, I'm
Yes.
rooting for the guy to win it all this year. I am rooting for him, but between him and Goff, in my mind. But I don't think that he's in the same spot. I think Lamar Jackson has not had any years where he's had lesser talent. The talent has increased every year, and each year they underachieve. So I think Lamar even more so than Josh Allen in my mind.
As far as I'm concerned, I say Lamar Jackson also for one particular reason. That team has really done very well this year on the offensive, and that is because of who they added in Henry.
Yes,
Now, Henry, as you can see, he's a big man and he's getting hit every week. By the end of the year, he is dragging, and if you notice, his totals start to go down.
right.
As he goes forward, Henry is not going to be the same player next year, and neither will Lamar Jackson. So I agree. It's Lamar Jackson who's got to win this year. When you look at the AFC, there are 3 teams: Kansas City, Baltimore, and Buffalo.
Yes,
Those 3 teams, I do not think. I think that Kansas City is certainly beatable. I
they
think
are.
I think Buffalo's got a very good chance. The way they're playing now, if that defense can hold up, I think they will be the Super Bowl from the AFC. Lamar Jackson again, for some reason, he loses the games and just disappears in some of the important games during the season, and I think that hurts him very, very badly. And I hate to see it because he has so much talent. He
He's
is such
great.
a
He is
tremendous
wonderful
player.
talent, wonderfully talented.
Oh, one of the most talented players I've ever seen. And
Right.
for him not to get to the Super Bowl, at least, I think it is a crime. So I'm rooting for Lamar Jackson to make it this year. I think that young man deserves it.
He does.
But if he don't make it this year, I think he's finished.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love this next question too. Which of the young budding superstar quarterbacks is in line to win a Super Bowl first? Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, CJ Stroud, or Bo Nix?
I think Jaden Daniels.
Very good, John.
Good answer.
Yes, I agree. I agree, Jalen Daniels, and I also agree, Bo Nix. Bo Nix
Yes.
has been very lucky insofar as getting his coach, Mr. Sean Payton.
Yes, he's doing a good
And
job with them.
I think because of that, he's done a great job with Nix, and the team is moving forward. And I think everybody in the NFC should be very, very careful because that defense is a solid defense. If Nix can play and not make freshman errors, I think they have an excellent chance of being the team representing NFC.
Mm,
And let me add
Detroit,
to that. Oh, I'd
okay.
like to add to that.
go right ahead.
Of the first year quarterbacks, not CJ Stroud, just the other three,
Right. Uh-huh.
he has the most yards and the most touchdowns, 17.
This is Bo Nix.
Bo Nix.
Yeah, he's impressive. He's impressive.
He is.
Now, I'm going to shake things up a little bit here, guys. I'm going to shake things up. And I
Okay.
am going to say none of the above, meaning
Ah,
Really?
that none of these
Yeah.
guys in their 10, 12 years in the NFL will win a ring. And here's why I say that. I'm gonna give you guys a couple of names. These five guys are the only five guys right now in the NFL who have a Super Bowl ring. Mahomes, of course, he's got three. Flacco, Rodgers, Stafford, and Wilson. Now, what do those four guys, apart from Mahomes, have in common? They took like about 10 years since the last time they won a ring. So this tells you how hard it is to win a ring in the NFL among quarterbacks. So I think, okay, because Flacco, Rodgers, Stafford, Wilson, all of them have won their ring a decade ago. So quarterbacks do not last very long in this league when you're a starter. And I think that some of these guys are going to be around and they're going to have good careers, but none of them are going to win a ring. Mark it down.
okay.
All right.
All right. I agree.
All right. So, in keeping with us being crazy in the Poconos, um, like I said last week, Angie's going to sing Christmas carols throughout December.
Oh,
Okay.
Angelica.
Which one did you want to Feliz Navidad?
Okay. Here's her rendition of Feliz Navidad in her Cartman voice.
Feliz Navidad.
Do, 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 do.
Feliz Navidad.
Do, 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 do.
Feliz Navidad. Prospero año es felicidad. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart.
That
All
will be in
right.
that will be in Angelica's new album just out last week.
Yes.
In her Cartman voice.
Yep. Christmas
Yes.
apartment.
Absolutely.
Watch out, Taylor
Angelica.
Swift. Watch out, Taylor Swift.
Yes.
Angie really does.
I
have a
do
beautiful
actually
singing
sing.
voice.
I believe you. I believe you. Trust me. One day,
Yeah.
you're in the voice, I'll be on the piano. One day.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Absolutely. One day. I would
Yep.
love that.
All right, let's pick some games.
Do it.
All right.
First up, Cleveland at Pittsburgh. Steelers are favored by 6.5. Comments?
Yeah,
That's
I
good.
like, believe it or not, I'm leaning towards Cleveland. Cleveland's
Ooh.
already beat them. So,
Yep,
yep.
24-19.
Yep.
yeah.
Back
So
in November.
I think Pittsburgh's going to have their hands full today because I think Cleveland's going to come out with the same attitude they had in Cleveland, where they think they can beat these guys, where everybody else is afraid even to play them. Forget about beating them. So I think that Cleveland's got an excellent chance of winning this game.
Oh, as a TV commentary guy on TV, not so fast, my friend. Not so fast.
No, all right, wait a minute, wait a
I
minute.
think Pittsburgh wins this game and it won't even be close. Because
Really? Wow.
Really?
Cleveland is not going to beat Pittsburgh twice in the same season. They play twice every year. I think Pittsburgh is still remembering that loss because they really should not have lost that game. They made a lot of mistakes.
Okay.
I think Pittsburgh wins this game by a touchdown or more. Mark it
Really?
down.
Okay.
Mark it
All right.
down.
All
I
right.
kind of think so too,
I'm marking
actually.
it down, but I think you lose. That's all I can tell you.
Oh, I agree with you, CJ. But
Oh, so it's 2-2. Okay.
All
Excellent.
All
right.
right. Buffalo at the Rams. Bills are favored by 3.5
believe it or not, I'm leaning towards the Rams.
to cover.
Oh, Angelica.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Angelica.
That's the first time I haven't picked Buffalo like in 10
Yeah.
weeks.
So you've
Buffalo
won the
doesn't
last 7.
Yeah. That was
Buffalo doesn't have a strong secondary. And with the Rams, with what's his name, Stafford,
Stafford,
and
yeah.
the receivers he's got, I think they're going to make the game very interesting. Either the Rams will win or they'll hold it very close.
I think the NFL, especially the NFL, is a league where it's really like it's trends. So Buffalo played last week. It was an emotional game. They were outside against the Niners at the Snow Bowl and so forth. They won rather easily, but that game was a night game. Now they're traveling across country to go to LA. I don't think LA is going to win this game, but I think LA is going to keep this game really close. I think a field goal or less. So I am
Yep.
taking the Rams to cover this spread.
Yep. Me
Yep.
too.
Yeah.
All righty. Next up, Chargers at Kansas City. Chiefs are
Oh,
favored by 3.5.
not a chance. The Chargers are going to win this game.
Win outright, huh?
I'm sorry?
wow.
The Chargers will win outright.
Win outright. They're going to beat Kansas City outright in this game. I think Jimmy Harborough has done a great job
Yes.
with that team. The defense is rated number 1, I think, or number 2 or 3 within the top 3. And I think they're going to beat Kansas City. As they said on the show that we watched, Literally,
Yeah. Yeah.
they said that Mahomes can't keep taking the hits he's taking game after game after game now. For some reason, that left tackle spot has been a big disappointment. They have not been able to get somebody to play that position well enough to protect Mahomes. And every game, he's on the ground at least 3, 4, 5, 6 times. He can't keep taking these hits. And you can see it in him. His passes now are not as accurate. He sometimes misses the guy by 3, 4, 5 yards. I think the Chargers, who have a terrific defense, I think slow Mahomes down, and I think they win.
Yeah, I would feel better. I agree with you. I would feel better though if the Chargers scored more points. They don't score a lot of points.
No,
17, 19, and so forth. But
yeah,
the other thing is so does Kansas City. This game might be 19 to 18 score. Neither team might get to 20 points. I'd like the Chargers to cover the spread for sure. And I give a lot of credit to Jim Harbaugh. That team is about a year or
Yeah.
two ahead of schedule.
yes,
I love this attitude. He's a tough-nosed guy. He runs the ball a lot. He plays tough defense. I think the Chargers are on their way to doing probably to surprising some teams in the playoffs this coming year. So watch out for the Chargers.
yeah, and I think this is a very appropriate game for that to happen, where the Chargers step up and beat Kansas City
Yes,
because they're in the same division. They beat Kansas City. It's going to be a close race going down to the end.
Yeah.
And I think this is going to show the rest of the league that the Chargers have to be dealt with.
yes. All right.
Okay. CJ, give us your best over under.
Okay. Best over under. I like I like the Seattle game, Seattle, Arizona, with the under. I mean, both these teams score in the teens when they play each other every year, seemingly for the past
Right.
4 or 5 times. So
Yep.
whatever that number is, go under with the Arizona Cardinals and the Seattle Seahawks.
Yep.
Yep.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
Okay.
my over and under was the Jets in Miami. Believe it or not, Miami's going to
Really?
win. Yeah, Miami's going to win 30-7. They'll
Yep.
be under.
It'll be
Last
under.
time they won 30-0.
Yeah, so
Complete
I think the
shutout.
Jets might be able to score a touchdown this time. So make it 30-7.
Yeah,
But
30
they'll be
to 7.
well under. If you look at the over and unders on all of these games, this is the furthest away from that number, and I think that's what's going to happen. The Jets are not going to score any points, but Miami will score 30, and that will be the end of the game again. So they'll
All
be under
right.
by a
Yep.
lot.
All right, CJ, give us a good parlay.
Okay, I'm going to preface this segment by saying last week's parlay, I gave you guys Arizona was getting 3.5 points. They lost by 1 point. The Chargers were favored by 1 point. They won by a touchdown. And Houston, I said just straight money line. They won their game. That would have been a plus $433. There's one problem. I didn't bet it.
Oh,
Oh,
CJ.
say,
Oh,
I
CJ. We
I
could have
felt
went to lunch.
A
yeah,
very
and
nice
A
lunch.
very nice
yeah,
one.
Yes,
and in
At
yes.
the
Vegas,
Plaza Hotel.
yeah, now in
We could have had
Vegas,
sushi.
400 bucks in Vegas gets you like maybe a half a salad, maybe some water. So keep that in mind. Okay, this week, I like Seattle is getting 2.5 points over Arizona. I like Buffalo just to win straight up over the Rams, and the Chargers are getting 4 points from the Kansas City. If you bet those three, it's a plus 547. This time, I will bet that. So don't keep me honest with you guys. Make sure I bet that parlay.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
Well, you know we're rooting for you because we're looking for the sushi dinner. God,
All right. So what's everybody's stay away game?
mine is Arizona and Seattle. That
Me
is going to
too.
be
Yeah.
It's
a
tough.
battle back and forth
Yes.
until
Yep.
the very last second. I think
Yep.
that's a heck of a game to watch. I'm still undecided who I'm going with, but that for me, that's the stay away game.
Okay.
Yeah. Anytime you give me teams from the AFC South, I turn my nose up. Tennessee, Jacksonville. I mean, I think that might be like a friends and
Yep.
family game because like there's nobody to be watching that game. Neither team can score. Jacksonville doesn't have Trevor Lawrence anymore because he got that concussion last week.
Yes. But what's his
And
name? His sub did very well this week.
yeah, Mac
Mac
Jones.
Jones,
Mac
he
Jones, yeah,
did.
ex
He had
Patriots.
235 yards
Oh,
Yeah,
passing.
Mac Jones is
yes.
good. Mac
Yes.
You
Jones is very good.
gotta be careful.
So yeah, I would say away from Tennessee, Jacksonville.
All
Okay.
righty. The outlier of the week, the game that seems as though it is so one-sided, but may wind up seeing the underdog win the game outright. Mine is Seattle.
Yeah, mine's
No
Seattle.
question in my mind, it is the Panthers against Philly.
You
Philly's
think the
favorite by
Panthers can
12
win
and a
that
half.
game?
And Mr. Bryce
No.
uh, Young is playing very well. They've won their last 2 out of 3. They lost the third game by a couple of points. That young man has finally started to learn how to play in the National Football
So you're
League.
saying
I think
that
he will
Philly
be
is
the
going to lose that game outright or potentially lose
yes,
Outright?
that game?
because
I don't agree.
just like with many teams that are on a roll, they're going to take their helmet, throw it on the field, and that's what they think is going to beat the Panthers. The Panthers are a young team. They look to play with momentum. I think they have it on their side now. They are getting more and more confident. Bryce Young is looking more and more like a number one pick. He's playing very well, and I wouldn't be a bit surprised if that young man and that young team upsets the Philadelphia Eagles. That is my outlier game.
Wow,
Wow.
that's a bold statement. Bold
That's a
That is
statement.
really
very bold
bold.
one. I
It
can
All
might
right,
feel
easy,
comfortable.
easy with the comments.
No,
Easy,
I
easy.
I
God.
definitely could see them covering,
Yes.
but
yes,
I don't think
that
so.
I
Covering.
agree with. I think if they win Carolina, I mean, I think drug testing will have to be done and so forth on this show because I don't believe that Carolina can actually beat Philly, but I do believe
Yeah.
they can cover. I do believe they can
Yeah.
cover.
Yes. Yep, exactly.
Me too.
There you go. See?
All right. Up
Be
next,
careful.
So
our
you're on
cat
crazy
Hayden's
after all.
lock
You're
of the
on.
week.
Be careful. Yeah, right away they jump all over me. What? Easy. God.
All
Okay.
righty. Up next, our cat Hayden's lock of the week. He is swimming with the fishes, the Miami Dolphins.
I
Oh,
agree,
God.
and I agree
Oh,
with that. I
God.
think I
I
think the
think you should
Jets.
swim with the fishes.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
those
Hey,
Jets are going to be. I think they're going to give up the rest of the season. I think they're going to be just turn things and keep the bus running in the parking lot. So
absolutely. I don't think the Jets should get off the bus. I think they should hire Mepham to go out and play their games, and Mepham would probably do better.
All right. And my lock of the week is Chicago Bears because of Caleb
Oh,
Williams and the interim
oh,
coach.
oh.
Whenever a team gets a new coach or whatever, they do better. There's a whole
Interesting.
new attitude.
Yeah, that's interesting
I
because they're
like
playing
it.
the 49ers. Yeah, I
I
do
like
too.
that.
As a matter of fact, I think I picked Chicago already
So
to cover.
now they're playing in San Francisco, I believe,
Yes.
correct?
Yes,
Yep.
yes, they're playing in San Francisco.
And so here's the only reason why I would probably not take the Bears because again, they lost a heartbreaker last week when they should have won that game. They messed around with the clock and so forth, got their coach fired. San Fran was embarrassed last week in Buffalo. And if there's any pride left in San Francisco 49ers, this is the week where they show it. So just a different opinion, a different side of things. But I would say
Well,
San Fran is going to win that game because they were embarrassed last week.
yeah, as usual, I disagree.
Yeah, I disagree too.
I
The,
think
the
the
reason
49ers are
being,
just going to tank the
Yeah, I
rest
think
of
the
the season.
49ers are done.
the
They're done.
49ers lost both of their top running backs. Both of them are out.
I'm being betrayed by
McCaffrey
three
and
people on the show here. I'm being betrayed
no, no, wait a minute, wait a minute.
at two
We're
Brutus
ganging
at
up on
two
you, CJ.
at two.
Blood
It's
is
two,
always thicker
okay?
than water. That's why that's the way it goes. Anyway, San
All
Fran,
right.
not for me. Like Angelica said, I think they're done. They're
Yeah,
finished.
they're done.
They lost their star tackle. They lost their running game.
Yep.
I mean, who the hell's going to run for the ball? Nobody. I think CJ, you should take a quick flight to San Fran, put your suit on, and get out on the field because
I
I
might
think
get
you're
my
going
arm
to need.
warmed up here,
Yeah,
get the stuff warmed
absolutely.
up, hit the gym.
Wonderful, unbelievable, unbelievable.
All right. On that note,
Okay. Retired Fatty, give us a hot topic or two for
Yes.
next
Oh,
week's
I
show.
got one that been burning inside of me and has
Okay.
thoroughly upset me for years, and it gets worse and worse.
Okay.
Why is the commissioner of the National Football League get a salary of $66 million a year?
Oh my.
Yes, it was previously 42 and they gave him a slight raise. Slight. He could cover the budget for Minnesota, for crying out loud. As far as I'm concerned,
That's
I
insane.
do cannot see what that man does to earn $66 million a year. Can
Wow.
anybody tell me why? If you look at the other commissioners in the NBA, MLB, MLS, any of the top other sports, none of them even come close to him. This is, to me, it's gotten way out of hand, and I think there should
Right.
be there should be some cap on his salary. My God, to earn $66 million, you never see the man. Where the hell he's out spending all the money you're paying him.
He's buying some sushi in Vegas. That's what he's
He
doing.
could buy Vegas.
All right,
God.
that will definitely be on the docket next week, no doubt.
Cool.
So, Miss Lily, take us out.
Okay, we want to remind our guests to check us out at thesmartgamble.com, to subscribe to us on YouTube, to reach out to us at thesmartgamble@gmail.com. And Angie, with the social media, take it away.
Instagram and Twitter at @thesmartgamble_.
And thank you all for
I have
watching.
one other before we end. I'm sorry.
Okay,
Before we
okay.
end,
Before we end.
pardon me. I'm sorry. I have a second point.
Oh, okay.
Which current lowest team will make the Super Bowl first? Panthers, Jacksonville, Vegas, Cleveland, Jets, Giants, and any other team you can think of. Which of those teams will make the Super Bowl first?
Okay. We may not have enough years left in our lives to see any of those teams make the Super Bowl. So
I know I won't. I know
maybe the
I
next,
won't see.
the
I
next
won't
life,
see who that team is out of that group.
the next millennium.
Yes, I'd have to live up to be another 100.
Methuselah.
Unbelievable.
All right, Miss
All
Lily,
right, well,
take us out.
Thank you all for watching. We love you all.
Yes, and we
$66
love
million.
you.
It's like $6 million. See you guys.
$66 million. Would you believe that? My God, where is it?
And
The
on that
man,
note,
he can't even drive the bus, and he's making $66 million. That's
All right.
unbelievable.
all right, guys, take care.
All right,
All
have a
right,
good
you
week.
take care. It's been a
you
pleasure
all.
again.
Love you
I'm
guys.
sorry that I got upset, but that man, that just kills me. And he sits in the suites with an owner. It's a big deal. That's all he does.
Nice
God.
life. Nice life.
Oh, it's a great country, but I think somebody should shoot him. Next.